This week's Parsha is Parshas Bo. We finished last week Parshas Ve'era with the first 7 makos of the 10, and this week's Parsha we discussed the last 3. So the 8th makkah begins this week's Parsha, which is Makas Arbe, locust, and HaKadosh Baruch Hu introduces it to Moshe and tells him that he should go speak to Paro, Ki ani hichbadeti es libo ve'es lev avodav, because I've hardened or I've strengthened his heart as well as the heart of his servants. Now this is something that hasn't been mentioned yet, this idea that he strengthened his heart, Paro's, as well as the heart of his servants. The difficulty with this is, if you look forward in the story a few psukim, after Moshe approaches Paro and Paro sends him out, it says in Pasuk Zayin, "Vayomru avdei Paro elav ad masa yezalanu lemokei shalach es anashim v'yavdu es Hashem Elokecha materem teidaki of the Mitzrayim." The servants of Paro turn to Paro and say, "How much longer will these people, Moshe and the Jewish people, be for our detriment, cause us such damage? Send them out." Now, there's a conversation in a moment which we'll get to, but it would appear that actually the servants of Paro's hearts wasn't necessarily hardened. They were quite willing and very interested in having the Jewish people sent out, as they recognized the damage that these Jewish people were causing the Mitzrayim. So why is it that the makkah that's introduced, where Hashem says, "I've hardened Lev Avadav," seems right afterwards to be the makkah where the servants of Paro step up and say, "Let's get rid of these people, they're causing us problems"? Question number 1. Question number 2 is, if you look forward in that second conversation, when Moshe returns to Paro, Paro says to Moshe, seemingly at a concession, and says, seemingly, "I'll let the people go free. Mi va mi holchim." This is Pasuk Ches. But who do you want to take free with you? So Moshe responds, "B'norenu v'izkenenu nelech, b'vanenu v'vnosenu, b'tzonenu v'vkarenu nelech, ki chag Hashem lanu." We want our youths and our elders. We want to leave with our boys and our girls, our sons and our daughters, with our animals. Ki chag Hashem lanu, because we have a celebration, a party for Hashem in the Midbar, and therefore we want to take the entire Jewish populace, all of the children, all of the cattle, everything included. Paro responds to that in Pasuk Yud in a way that's kind of vague as to what he's saying, and the way that Onkelos and the Ramban seem to learn, which is the simple pshat how Rashi would learn, is Paro's response essentially was, "Now I see you're being malicious with me. Because if you really were only trying to go out to do avoda, to do karbanos, you'd only need the gvarim, you'd only need the adult men. That's all you'd need, because only the adult men engage in avoda, in zvicha, in karbanos. The fact that I see you're asking to take the children with you as well means you're really trying to escape. And thus I'm going to disregard your request, and I'm not going to let you go free as you're requesting." So that's the way that the Mefarshim explain a simple pshat, seems to be Rashi's simple understanding of the conversation. And this leads us to a second question. Paro seems to be very comfortable in saying, if all you need to do is zvicha, you only need the men. Moshe seems to have a difference of opinion, and he says, no. Ki chag Hashem lanu, we have a chag for Hashem. We have a celebration for Hashem, and as such, we need all the elements of the Jewish people to participate. The children, the boys and the girls, the animals, everything needs to participate. And so it would seem to emerge, Moshe's argument is, if you have a chag la Hashem, everything has to participate. Paro saying, if it's zvicha, you only need the adult men. So this leads us to our second point, which is, what is indeed the distinction between Chag Hashem Lanu, that Moshe seems to be saying is a fair reason the children would need to go out as well, and Paro's argument back, which is, you've only been asking me for zvicha, for avoda, for service, for karbanos, and therefore it's not necessary for you to have the children with you. What is indeed the fine distinction between zvicha, or serving Hashem with karbanos or avoda, versus Chag Hashem Lanu, as Moshe is saying that the entire populace and their animals and children and all have to leave Mitzrayim? Okay, Be'ezus Hashem, if you have answers for any of these questions, please feel free to reach out. Hopefully we'll come out with a pshat with all the help and assistance soon. Everyone have a great night.